What's going on, everyone? Cole Swider was a big disappointment for the Los Angeles Lakers. I talked about him repeatedly. He was a guy that I was really high on when the Lakers ended up getting him. You know, he was the best shooter coming out of his draft class. He went undrafted because he was very raw and didn't really provide anything outside of shooting. And this was a guy that did have a lot of promise and did have a lot of potential, right? 6'9" size, 220 pounds, 225 pounds. He was a little older at the time, 23, coming in this year, he's 24. But, he was a guy that, give it a year or two, he can kind of just learn the ropes and kind of get his feet under him. This is a guy that could have some real potential, kind of be a Duncan Robinson type player, be a guy that could make an impact and just play multiple positions and be just a dead-eye shooter for the Lakers, right? Be a guy that, even in a specialty role, could really kind of provide just that type of player that the Lakers could be looking for. Lakers have always struggled, even when they won the championship, they were like ranked 26th or something like that in three-point percentage, right? Bringing in a guy like Cole Swider who could shoot 40+% from three and just be absolute knockdown would have been massive. He goes through the year, really raw, just kind of looks lost out there, but it's understandable. Again, he's undrafted for a reason. And then this year was the year that we were all pumped and hyped and excited. And it was like, all right, we're going to get to see Cole Swider's growth. We're going to get to see his potential. And we're going to get to see like what he can do and what he improved on. He averaged, 15 points, 4 rebounds and assists, shot like 50% from three. And he averaged like 7.6 attempts per game. And it was like, dude, this is a guy that, he's got a whole year under his belt. Let's see it. Let's see the improvement. Let's see the growth. And then he got to Summer League and he was awful. He really was. I mean, you could make an argument he was worse this year than he was the previous year. Still looked lost. Still looked like, he's 6'9", but he might as well have been 5'9". He just provided nothing outside of shooting the three ball. There is no question that he can shoot the lights out. No question about it. When he's on fire, he is on fire, and it's good luck trying to stop him. And he has that 6'9" height that really allows him to get his shot off. That's very helpful. But he was getting bullied and pushed by smaller players. There was a play where he got the ball on the block and was trying to back down one of the guards. I think it was for Boston, and he's like a foot taller than this guy and just literally couldn't move him, tried to make some slip move and just lost the ball, and they're running the other way, and that was like a regular occurrence. He'd get the ball, and if he couldn't get his shot off, he just like panicked. And even the commentator in one of the games called out Cole Swider and was like, I don't know what he's doing out there. He seems like a guy that's just nervous or just trying to do too much to prove a point to be on the roster, and it's kind of what it felt like, right? Kind of felt like he was a guy that really needed to, that was trying to do too much to prove that he deserves a spot. And you saw guys like, Demoy Hodge and Colin Castleton, saw Max Christie and just the leaps that he took. And I didn't even care if Cole Swider took that kind of a leap, right? I mean, Max Christie went from like looking like, okay, like this kid has potential to like, oh no, he's just better than everybody, right? Like this isn't even fair for him. And I'm not saying Cole Swider had to be that, but it's like, at least let's see some growth. Let's see some improvement. Let's see some better understanding and just situational awareness and just feel on the court. He just doesn't have any of that. He has no awareness. He has no real true feel on the basketball court. And it was a real letdown. The Lakers felt the same way, right? They end up letting him go. They release him, and they end up bringing Alex Fudge on a two-way contract to pair with Demoy Hodge and Colin Castleton. And Cole Swider was up for grabs, and the Miami Heat came and swooped in, right? So Cole Swider has signed with the Miami Heat. And I actually think that this is really good for him. Because out of all the other destinations besides the Lakers, Miami is kind of like that one farm, right, that has a really good track record with undrafted players. And the two kind of places that have had really good success with these type of players are the Lakers and the Miami Heat. And Miami also has a guy that was very similar to Cole Swider. in Duncan Robinson. And he's a guy that many people believed would be kind of Cole Swider's comparison. And Duncan Robinson took a little while to kind of follow that track and follow that suit. And he's a guy 6'7" height, so he's got good height, similar build, similar size. And when he's on, he could shoot the lights out. He went undrafted as well, kind of struggled, and then all of a sudden he had that year, got that contract, and next thing you know, he was a key piece for Miami for last handful of years. Even last year, he had some really good, solid moments for the Miami Heat. And so you look at somebody like Cole Swider, and you look at like what Miami was able to do with Duncan Robinson, and you can really kind of see that comparison. You can really kind of see the optimism that Miami would bring for Cole Swider. And Cole Swider, look, he's just looking for an opportunity. And look, I'm rooting for the guy. I like the guy coming out of college. I really thought he could be a key piece for the Lakers later on down the road. And he wasn't it, right? He wasn't the guy. But that doesn't mean that I want to see him have failures and him just, out the league or anything like that. No, I want to see people eat. I want to see people succeed, right? And I've made several videos just expressing my disappointment with Cole Swider, and I get the comments of like, man, tell us how you really feel about Cole Swider. And it's just because I'm so disappointed. Like, you look at Cole Swider and you're like, dude, this is a guy that has a world of potential. 6'9", right? He can play the power forward. He can play the small forward. This guy shoots the lights out. If he can just develop any type of like defensive game or just any type of awareness, even as a help defender or something, like, dude, you could have a real gem here. And he just showed no improvement. And Swider, I just thought really, he just was a disappointment, right? Like, the Lakers were very high on the guy. And it just, for whatever reason, whether it's just nerves or whatever, he just couldn't seem to put it together. But now he's going to a place in Miami who they have the track record. He'll have people that he can relate to and speak to, and somebody that is basically Cole Swider before Cole Swider, right? And Duncan Robinson. And so I do think that is something that'll be very valuable. And even when Swider ended up getting released by the Lakers, I said, Miami was a good place to go. And I've compared Swider to Duncan Robinson on countless occasions and talked about how, he has somebody that he can model after and whatnot. And now he's going to Miami and he's going to a team that has a guy in Duncan Robinson. And I just think that, Swider can kind of get his bearings. Miami is a place that'll probably be patient with him and can kind of just use him in spots and, kind of just play him in moments and kind of grow and develop him. Where, the Lakers, Alex Fudge, the guy looked like Jared Vanderbilt 2.0 out there. And he's 20 years old as compared to Swider, who's, 24, going to be 25. And it's just like, even if Swider is probably 2, maybe 3 years away from actually being probably a real NBA player. You never know. Maybe he does take some leap, right? Maybe it was just the Lakers. Maybe the lights were too bright for him with the Lakers. We've seen plenty of players have that struggle where they're with the Lakers and they're awful, and then they go somewhere else and they're just great, right? The Lakers' bright lights shine very bright. And so maybe he can go and be something immediately. But the reality is he's probably 2 or 3 years away. And then at that point, he's 27, 28 maybe. And you're hoping for him to be something where you could have a guy like Alex Fudge and you could literally spend the next 5 years developing him, and he'd be at the age that Cole Swider is right now. So it's like, of course you're going to take the younger guy with the defense and the 6'9" length and the size and showing the ability. and could potentially be a Jared Vanderbilt 2.0, right? Like he looks like he has that level of defense of potential and that versatility and that switchability and all the things that you could want from a wing defensive player like that. And it's like, where do you go? Like, you could teach him to be a serviceable three-point shooter. He doesn't even have to be elite, because if he becomes that good defensively and you can just get him a modest three-point shot, I'd take that over Cole every day, right? A guy who 6'9" that can't even guard me, and yeah, he's an elite shooter, but if he can't shoot the basketball, he's pointless out there. You know, like, you can't play. I mean, even Duncan Robinson, when Duncan Robinson isn't on and he's not shooting well, he's nearly unplayable out there. And Duncan Robinson, I think, has better awareness and just feel for the game than Cole Swider has, but even Robinson is just completely unplayable. But Swider kind of gives Miami that upside and potential that for Duncan Robinson, and especially if they end up moving off of Robinson or something like that, or maybe they're hoping that he can kind of develop into that and then put Miami in a position to where it's like, oh, well, now we got another shooter for the long haul. You know, it's a low risk, high reward type move for Miami. I'm rooting for Swider. I hope that he, you know, has some success. I really do. I would love to see him have some real success for Miami. But he just, I'm not holding my breath for him. I'm just not. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. How do you feel about Swider going to Miami? Are you cool with it? Are you disappointed? Do you think he'll have success? Do you think he won't? How do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it, so let me know down